and welcome to an evening of innovation. While it is truly an honor to be here, it is because we're in a room that is filled with those people that understand the importance of entrepreneurship. Tonight represents a benchmark in the evolution of our region. Initially, this city, Murrieta, grew dramatically as a commuter hub with workers heading out in order to earn their wages, but it wasn't sustainable. We needed job opportunities. We needed to take our working parents off the freeway commute. We needed amenities. We needed to offer dining, entertainment, and leisure. We needed to evolve into an economy that could support and foster entrepreneurs and give them a chance to thrive. Tonight is remarkable because we've grown into a home for business startups. We're a city that has 7 companies operating within our incubator, the Murrieta Innovation Center. 10 companies operating. It gets a little tricky. We have 7, and then there's 3 extra ones under Murrieta Genomics. It's a pyramid. We are a city that not only has major medical tenants like Kaiser, Loma Linda, Rades, and Rancho Springs, but also a thriving biotech cluster featuring companies like Murrieta Genomics, Alliance Research Centers, Gattaco, Trio Pharmaceuticals, Lit Central, Sandhill Crane Diagnostics, Epigenetics, Lyceum Pharmaceuticals, and more. There are even future tenants in this room right now that I am sure are excited by the exponential growth of our town and the focus on innovation and collaboration. Tonight is special because of the quality of the sponsors that recognize the importance of the work that is going on right here. And there's dignitaries that offer their support and encouragement, including Riverside County Supervisor Chuck Washington.
I'm honored to be here. I'm excited about what's happening here tonight and what's happening right here in my neighborhood, because my wife and I have lived here in the Southwest for the last 30 years. I want to tell you a little bit about my own personal story and why this is of such importance to me. I've seen innovation take hold in my professional life. And that goes back to when I left the Navy and went to work for Delta Airlines, and I flew 727s, and we had on our cockpit, in the front of our cockpit, what we refer to very lovingly, we had steam gauges. What that meant was everything was rotary, think analog. I currently have a small airplane now, and I retired from Delta Airlines some time ago. But I'm able to use my iPad when flying my little airplane and have a device that connects to my iPad that shows weather, shows other airplanes in the area. Sometimes when my wife is riding with me, she takes pictures and she puts it on Facebook, and friends say, "What is Chuck doing there? Is he watching a movie?" No, he's flying. Fast forward to where I'm at today for the last 4 years on the County Board of Supervisors. I am famous or infamous with county staff when I tell them, don't bring paper into my office. I want to see it digitally. I have something for you to put it up on. The reason I do that is because I want them to think innovation. Because those of us that are in my generation, baby boomers, were thought of as dinosaurs. I have several millennials that work in my office, and I always compliment them how quick they are to engage technology and innovation. And I say, and I love that you guys don't badmouth us baby boomers. And then one of the millennials in my office said, well, actually, Supervisor, we do. We just don't do it to your face. But I think there's something in the innovation and technology that can help the county close its budget gap. And so I don't want people to think that innovation has to be something that will send people to Mars. It can be something very simple. It can be something that we can all use. Sometimes the simplest things are the best things. So I applaud everyone who's supporting the effort to bring innovation to our region and to our county. And we'll see how they go, how they do tonight. Thanks.
Our next speaker is Murrieta City Council member Jonathan Ingram.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending. Are you warm? So I won't be inspirational then, right? So they say generally that when government does something, that it's a mistake if it's done right, that it was, an error and we got lucky. This was pre-planned. I remember just sitting here with Jay and talking about the fact that I remember him sitting on a little card table type desk inside the old city hall with leaky ceilings, outlets that didn't work. Our now city manager painting the walls and cleaning up. You remember this? Air conditioning that didn't work, and when it rained, we went, okay, where are we gonna move things so they don't get destroyed? And what it's turned into now with genomics and all the other things that are transpiring there, it's an amazing thing to have been on board with, and I was glad to participate since its inception. But there's so much more that's gone with this innovation center, whether it's been Waterstone Faucets, all the other companies that have come into Marietta. And thank God for Supervisor Washington and the improvements that we've done to help community projects, streets, roads, crosswalks, all the other things that we're doing now that will help build the infrastructure to make this flourish. And the hope is that it's going to create many jobs to come for the city, and I believe that it will with Jay's leadership and the people that are engaged. People like Mr. Fisher, who put countless hours in sitting in the heat. Thank you very much. Stand up. You deserve it. Stand up. I never asked for anything. Rick Gibbs for dragging me down there going, you're getting involved with this. You'll love it once you see what it does. Mr. Gibbs couldn't make it this evening because he's had back surgery, but he was involved with this from the very beginning in its inception. And then Scott, he's like a triathlete. He just grabbed the baton and ran with it. So having said that, you guys enjoy your dinner tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing your presentations. If you have any questions and I can help in any way, don't hesitate to call me. Jay has my contact information.
So Marietta is fortunate for a lot of reasons. One is the policy direction we received from council, who decided to take our former city hall and turn it into a business incubator. That is something that is a little more common, but you don't see it in every city, and you don't see it a lot down in South Riverside County. So we've been truly blessed to have that kind of leadership, and thank you very much for that, Mr. Ingram and Mrs. White. Tonight, our last speaker from the dignitaries is Mrs. Isabel Guzman from the GoBiz Small Business Advocate. Actually, let's try that again. The GoBiz Small Business Advocate, Ms. Isabel Guzman.
Thank you so much. I was excited to accept this invitation as really our focus and Governor Newsom's administration has been on regions rising and elevating and shining a light on amazing initiatives such as this that are focused on bringing innovation and elevating small business and entrepreneurship in regions. My background is heavily in startups. It's actually how I first met John Powers of Marietta. In the past, and then additionally, I was at the federal level working at the Small Business Administration in charge of all policy across capital and disaster and innovation. And so now coming to the Newsom administration, really focusing on a California dream for all. And for me, that means inclusive entrepreneurship. I lead on entrepreneurship for the state. I focus on translating government for small businesses to ensure that they have access to the information that they need, but also advocating on behalf of small businesses. And so I look forward to partnering with organizations like this so that I could make sure that the message gets across clearly that startups are valuable, that innovation is valuable, and that we need to not only shine the light on these initiatives, but also pave the way in terms of clearing hurdles and barriers that exist. So I look forward to a partnership, and please feel free to reach out if you ever need anything. Thank you.
We're here tonight specifically because of one person. This is Mr. Jay Gott. He is the Sylvester Stallone of this Rocky film. Yes. Jay is an absolute game changer, and you don't grow a region without people like him. People who do it for absolutely no other cause than to help, to grow, to be a mentor to young business owners. Jay gives constantly without ever asking for anything in return. And we are lucky to have him in our city. We are lucky to have him in our county. There needs to be more Jay Gotts. And with that, let's get the one and only Mr. Jay Gott up here.
Oh, Scott, you made me blush. Well, everybody, I'll tell you, it's been a long road, and we couldn't have done it without the support of many of the people here. I want to take quick note of the people who couldn't be with us today. Rick Gibbs, who had his surgery, Rick Dudley, the former city manager who started us down the road, Kim Summers, the assistant city manager, now city manager, that helped me do the cleaning and garbage removal. And of course, there's Bruce Coleman that almost everyone in this room knows if you've been around the area at all. He's in McKinney, Texas now, and he sends his regards to everybody. So really, this program could not be as nice and a nice place with good food without the sponsors. And we were really lucky that we were able to bring in some really, really terrific sponsors. And what I want to do is give them a chance. Our title sponsor, JP Morgan, and our gold sponsors, Bench International and Metropolitan Water District, just a chance to tell you a little bit about what they're doing, what they see in the future, and then we'll get on to with the show and get the companies up here telling you about what they're doing. So first, we'd like to bring Matt Webb of JP Morgan Chase up.
My name's Matt Webb. I'm a market director and executive director with Chase Bank here in the Temecula Valley area. A lot of people hear Chase Bank and they think the credit card company that bought another institution 10 years ago. But as it turns out, we're quite a bit bigger than that. We are here tonight to represent JP Morgan Chase. And on behalf of the 20 employees here that we have attending this event, I just want to say thank you, Jay, and thank you to all of you for giving us the opportunity to partner with you on what is a wonderful venture here in the community. I'd like to take a few moments just to tell you a little bit about JP Morgan Chase. We are a global financial services company with over 2.6 trillion in assets and 250,000 employees worldwide. And our CEO, Jamie Dimon, he very much believes that it is our obligation and our responsibility to not only serve our clients, but also to serve our communities. And in that spirit, we've been around for over 200 years, and we have a history that is very intertwined with the history of the United States. Things like the base of the Statue of Liberty. Now, we didn't give the Statue of Liberty, our friends from France did that, but we helped finance the base. The Panama Canal, the Brooklyn Bridge, the Lindbergh, the first flight. We were part of that. We were involved in the financing. Now, my personal favorite, if you have a moment, pull out your phones and Google the $10,000 bill, and you'll see our namesake, Salmon Chase, there. There actually is a $10,000 bill. It's not in circulation, but it does exist. But as I mentioned, we also believe in our responsibility to give back. Our communities give so much to us, and it's important that we give back as well. So I'd like to share a couple of things that we're doing at a national level, and then also a couple of our local initiatives. So nationally, we were most recently the presenting sponsor of Carry the Load. And this was a relay of 11,500 miles across the country to raise awareness and funds for nonprofits that serve our military, their veterans, and their families. We also just recently, we also just announced the Advancing Cities Initiative, which is and I want to get this right here, $500 million initiative over the next 5 years aimed at sourcing innovative and sustainable solutions for the most persistent problems facing our communities. And we just recently announced that San Diego was a recipient of one of the first grants for that. And then finally, nationally, a $350 million global investment in a program called the Future of Work, which is aimed at creating economic opportunity and career mobility. And this is an extension of a $250 million commitment that we made back in 2013. And this is really designed to meet the growing demands for the need for skilled workers in our communities. So let me tell you for just a moment what I am most passionate about, and that's what we do here locally. So I supervise 13 branches. I have 150 employees who report up through me. And together, we serve 100,000 households here in the Temecula Valley area. And that's over $2 billion in assets that we take care of. Our teams are passionate about the communities they serve. They live and work here, and they come to work each day dedicated to take care of all of our clients. But it's also important to note that we support causes that they are passionate about. And every year, we pull them together and we ask them, what's important to you? What do you want to see us do in the community? Because we have access to dollars to support organizations that our teams are passionate about. And a few of the examples that we have, now we do a lot of throughout the Inland Empire with our local budget here, but a couple of the ones that we've done right here locally. First and foremost, our Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. We've been a proud participant and sponsor of that for many years now. Recently, as many of you know, it was moved to Marietta, and so that's been a great event for us, and you'll see us again here this year. We also have a long-standing partnership with our friends at Oak Grove, and we recently just announced an agreement with them to sponsor their 4 key events here in the coming year. And for those of you that are not familiar, they do the Chef's Open, Evening Under the Oaks, Rock the Oaks, and my personal favorite, the Marietta Rod Run for all of you car guys or gals out there. And then last but certainly not least, we just announced a 1-year partnership with Habitat for Humanity. We recently had our team out there for the Menifee Better Together event about a month ago, and we're able to help the citizens out there in Sun City. We'll be supporting several events with Habitat for this coming year, and all of the volunteer shirts that Habitat volunteers wear this year will have JP Morgan Chase on the back. So, yeah. And so with me here tonight, we've got representatives from multiple lines of business here with JP Morgan Chase. Whether your need is wealth management, business banking, large or small, home mortgage, or retail banking, there is somebody here in the room that can help you with that. And in that spirit, I'd like to introduce my friend and partner, Executive Director and Relationship Executive, Mr. Derek Brunell, who's going to tell you more about our commitment to life sciences. Derek.
Good evening, everyone. If Jay's Rocky in this story, then Matt and I are maybe Paulie and Mick. So it's an honor to be here tonight. As Matt said, my name is Derek Brunell. I'm an executive director. I live and work in San Diego, and I exclusively focus on commercial banking relationships with life science companies. I'm one of 15 bankers around the country that the firm hired to focus on the life sciences space. And when we think of life sciences, we're talking about working with biopharma, biotech companies, medical device companies, tools and diagnostics companies, services companies that cater to companies in the life science ecosystem, like clinical research organizations, contract drug manufacturing companies. And so that's just a broad overview of the life science initiative that we have. Also, what's important to know is that we're also focused on other industry verticals like technology, disruptive commerce, for-profit health. So there's a number of industry verticals that the bank is investing not only individuals, but also a considerable amount of resources to cater to companies in those specific industries. From a mandate perspective, I think one of the things that's quite surprising when I talk to people about what we're doing is they don't understand why JP Morgan Chase wants to work with really young companies. And it's really part of our overall strategy to cultivate and deepen relationships with companies early in their life cycle and then scale with them. I like to tell people there really isn't a company that we cannot bank. And so as an example, I'm working with a seed stage company right now, a woman founder who's graduated from a San Diego-based incubator. And she's got friends and family money. She just came onto our banking platform, and now we're working with her to locate Series A investors. The other end of the spectrum, I'm working with a revenue stage diagnostics company. They got cash flow, they're looking for growth capital. And so we've got a pretty broad mandate, and we're really looking to establish relationships with companies very early. And when I tell people that, they're surprised. They think of JP Morgan and they think of the investment bank, they think of the healthcare conference. They don't think that they are good enough for JP Morgan, and Matt and I are here to kind of let everybody know. And if there's one thing that you take away from tonight, at least our presentation, is that we would love to talk to you if you are 2 people in a garage in a business plan. We would love to work with you. So that's about it. We're really, again, grateful for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Jay, for inviting us into this community. We're really excited to listen to the presentations tonight and start playing a bigger role in the innovation ecosystem here in Marietta. Thank you.
So next, I'd like to bring up a representative from the Metropolitan Water District. I met John probably, we were thinking 8 to 10 years ago. And he was talking in Temecula about innovation and doing new things in a different way. I was just starting with TriTech, and I thought, wow, these guys, for a water company, these guys are really thinking about innovation. And when you think about all the trouble we have with water here in California, the Metropolitan Water District and all of its brothers and sisters play a very important part in our livelihood. So I'd like to bring John up and have him share a few words with us. John?
Well, good evening. It's great to be here. My name is John Arena. I manage our business outreach and innovation program. I've been with the district 23 years, so I've seen a lot in the region, and it's meant a lot to be part of this sort of innovation growth in the water sector. It's happening everywhere. It's happening across the U.S., globally. We're all trying to work together as public utilities and as water companies to try to look into the future and make sure that we have a reliable, safe drinking supply. Metropolitan is the largest wholesaler in the United States, serving 20 million people. It's a big task, and we can't do it without our entrepreneurs, without new ideas coming in, but also from our employees. We have several of our employees here. We have April Hall, who manages our apprenticeship program, which is so important because people are leaving the water sector, and we need young folks. We need people to look at jobs in the future in water. There will always be a need for a water company. It is the lifeblood of our economy. Without water, if 90 years ago, Mulholland and a bunch of people didn't meet in Pasadena to build and look at the future of the state water, or the Colorado River Aqueduct, we wouldn't have a Southern California without the water. So we've got to continue to innovate. And that's why we're so happy to be here sort of for the launch, to be part of this. We've been involved with all the other incubators and innovation centers in Los Angeles and Orange County and San Diego, and they've been around a long time. And my colleague, Wiggs Mendoza, who's passionate, who lives in Hemet, who's passionate about this region, who couldn't be here tonight because he threw his back out, and I have to believe it's because of all the work that him and Jay have been doing to get this going. He couldn't be here, and you all know Wiggs. I'm just here to represent Metropolitan, but to say that if you guys can do, or what you're doing here, what they're doing in those other centers, it's creating so many jobs, so many opportunities. Some exciting things are happening in innovation, and we're just happy that water can be part of your center. So Jay, all the best, and you and your InSoCal Connect team, and we look forward to just being part of it for as long as we can.
Then our other gold sponsor is going to come up. That's Christine Maley with Bench International. And this is an incredible company. I met Dee Dee Demand, their founder, at an InSoCal Bio meeting, and I met Christine there too. And it was just, we came together and we just said, wow, we can do some really cool stuff together. So Christine will tell you a little bit about what they do. Then I'll introduce the rest of the sponsors around the room very briefly, and we'll get started with our program. Thank you. Christine?
Okay, sorry, I have the opposite problem. I'm a little bit too short for the podium. So thank you, we're so happy to be here. And what I'd like to do now is introduce you to Bench International. As soon as Jay pulls up our slides here, I'm going to tell you about why we exist and why we are doing what we do. And that is reflected actually in our title slide where we show a bee. And the bee has cases on its forehead and all over its face. And the reason we do what we do is because we want to have an effect on the patients. We believe by bringing in visionary R&D leaders, we can have an effect on bringing novel cell therapies to the market that can affect the tumor microenvironment. In bringing in experienced regulatory affairs and market access leaders, we believe we can have an effect on bringing a digital smart pill to market in the best possible way and having it commercialized in the best possible way as well. Finally, we do believe that bringing chief executive officers or CEOs into companies that can actually fund from both the domestically as well as internationally, we can bring novel and desperately needed Alzheimer's therapies to the market as well. Okay, no problem. So here at Bench, we are a retained executive search firm. Our founder and CEO is Dee Dee Demand. She founded the company in 1974, and for over 46 years, or almost 46 years, we've been exclusively serving the life sciences community. So we run the entire So one of the key features that we'd like to talk about today is our experience working and bringing in board members, independent directors, who can bring substantive value to your companies. So these people that are looking at the strengths of your current company, your current board, and then being able to bring someone in that can bring value where and complementary skills to where you don't have them currently. As I said, we work at the C-suite level, and we work at the VP, N-1, and N-2 as well. So building out their leadership team across R&D, as I said, commercial, all the way through the C-suite and the CEO level. So then finally, what is really important as well for startups and emerging growth companies and early stage companies is the R&D engine. And something that we're really passionate about, and as an engineer myself, what I get really excited about is the science, that we get really deep into the science. We want to know you, we want to know your management team, we want to know your board. Understanding the company culture is critical in bringing in the right leadership into your team. And so we try to get very involved with our companies, making sure that we understand you, so that as we go out into the market, we can be a true extension of you and really represent you to your candidates in the marketplace. And not only that, we can actually look for those leaders who are able to then fit within your culture and really get you as a company and get you as yourself here with your team. So we feel it's really important to be able to do that. Remembering my third slide here. I practiced in the car all the way down, I promise. So I just want to say that here at Bench International, we really care about our clients. One of the things that we really get involved with, thank you, Jay. Oh, actually, yes, okay. So I want to talk a bit about what our special options are and how we have special options of partnerships with early stage companies as well as startup companies. So as a standard of practice, we work on a performance-based milestone payment model. And what that means in fancy language is that you don't pay us unless we're meeting the milestones that we set out for in the beginning. So that's really important. That's the basis of our business. For early stage and for startup companies, what we also offer are our whiteboarding and consulting, as well as our mapping projects. So for example, right now we have a client that we're working with. They started an academic center and spun out. And within the next few years, they're going to aim to be a globally represented firm, pharmaceutical company. So in that process, we started with a whiteboarding exercise with them, which means that we want to look at what their organization needs to look like now in the next 2 years and in the next 5 years as well. So we sat down with them, working closely with their chairman, working closely with their CEO and leadership team, and mapped out an org chart for both the 2-year and the 5-year plan. And from that, looking at the milestones and what they aim to gain along the way, our goal is then to look at, to prioritize which placements they need to make, which hires they need to make to be able to hit those milestones as well. So from that whiteboarding exercise, we've now spun it into a mapping project. And what that means is that now we're going and we're mapping all of the regulatory affairs leaders, which was our prioritized #1 for their next stage of development. So we're looking at all regulatory affairs leaders within the Washington, D.C. area because of their close ties with the FDA. So once we've mapped that entire market and know who the key leaders are, we're going to go out to search with them, and we'll now find that leader that not only has all the hard skills, but who really fits within their organization. The third thing that we want to talk about is actually that for small companies, for startups, and for early development, we also offer an equity payment option, which means that we know cash is king, especially at these early stage companies. And so we're offering that part of the payment that we receive, we made in equity. That creates us as a true partner for you. We're co-investing in the success of the project as well as the success of the company as a whole. So I want to thank you for your time. We're really excited to be here. We're looking forward to working with you all, and we'd love to understand how we can better serve you and be able to help you build your company. So thank you so much for your time.
So anyway, I do want to recognize the rest of the sponsors that are here. Start with the City of Murrieta. They've been a great partner. They've been so focused on innovation. When I met with the city leaders early on and caught the vision of what they wanted to do by zoning an entire area for research and development instead of letting the developers build out houses, and bringing in the companies like Loma Linda and Kaiser Permanente and Rady Children's, I saw that the effort is here to create the next big biotech hub. And I think that's what we're doing here at the Myriad Innovation Center. So without the city, none of this would be possible, and I really thank you very much. Another company that is a table sponsor today is Swenson Advisors. Steve Austin is the chairman of InsoCal Connect, and without his leadership, InsoCal Connect never would have started. He started as InsoCal Connect Temecula, and then it grew into a regional organization. And Steve and I have been working side by side to make this happen for many, many years. I really appreciate his guidance, support, and mentorship. Thank you, Swenson Advisors. Another name that nobody's ever heard of, but actually I think is going to play a big part in our pivotal role here is Microsoft. And Microsoft, for startups, enrolled us into their program. They accepted us. There are a number of Microsoft for startup companies here, and Microsoft is doing some really ingenious stuff when it comes to helping small companies manage their data and come up with a real data strategy to protect privacy, to allow people to actually utilize data in the way that we need to, because the future of medicine, I think, is the plexus and nexus between big data and biology. The deeper we dive into biology, the more data we're producing, and we've got to be able to make sense out of that data, and it's companies like Microsoft that help us do that. So thank you, Microsoft. Then I'd like to thank UCR, our big brother up north. The University of California, Riverside has been a huge proponent of innovation, and they have so many cool technologies that are being developed at the university. They just built an incredible 4-story wet lab building, the MRB, the Multidisciplinary Research Building, that is going to house over 60 principal investigators and their teams that are going to be doing all kinds of cool work. And what's really nice is they built out an area on the first floor for incubator companies, and they're going to have their own wet lab incubator, something that's been really needed in this area for a long time. Thank you, UCR. Scott Brofsky runs the EPIC SBDC, so Mark Mitchell ran TriTech SBDC, where I worked with him for many years. They were instrumental in focusing on technology and innovation in the region, and TriTech split into the UCI and UCR SBDCs, and Scott is now running the SBDC, and they provide incredible guidance to all the entrepreneurs in this area. And Scott Brofsky, you talk about the Innovation Month in Riverside, it wouldn't have happened without Scott's efforts. Thank you, Scott. So we also have the Valley Business Journal here today. We have Business Insights, the people who are filming everything for us. InsoCal Connect is very, very proud to be part of the innovation movement here. And I really want to thank everyone for attending. And now let's get to the real rock stars of this event.